Welcome to the second Buffering Ping, the fast lane of the Buffering podcast, where we are breaking down big ideas and focusing on one sharp topic. And today's topic is all about one of my favorite apps and websites, Reddit. By now, you've likely heard of Reddit. It's also known as the front page of the internet, or as I like to think of it, the funnel of the internet, which we'll talk about later today here. But this was a website that was founded in 2005 and has since grown into one of the most vibrant online communities with hundreds of millions of users per month. So what Reddit is and why we're talking about it today is you have this massive collection of forums called subreddits on every topic you can imagine, from sports to crumble, from cats to broadband. Gabe, there is a subreddit for everything. And this is a platform that thrives on user-driven content and conversation. And you know me, I had to look at their Q2 earnings a few weeks ago when they came out. And I was going to let you talk about this section a little bit, Gabe, so feel free to chime in. But a few things I want to call out here, and we're going to talk about why this all matters here in a few minutes. But 78% increase in revenue year over year, 84% increase in ad revenue year over year. I said hundreds of millions, over 110 million daily active uniques, which is a metric I love. A daily active unique is a unique user who interacts with a website or an app within a period. So all of this taken into account, Gabe, why is Reddit so popular?
Well, first of all, love the daily active uniques. That's something that I've always heard, daily active DAUs is daily active users, MAUs, monthly active users. I haven't seen the uniques thing. So I love that they're calling that out specifically. But why is Reddit so popular? Well, it's full of diverse and niche communities. And when you mentioned there's a subreddit for everything, there really is, man. The depth of content just really attracts users with so much of that detail around every single subreddit you could possibly imagine. And it's really authentic. It's authentic engagement. There isn't as much clout as what you see on some other social media sites, maybe like Instagram or some of the others, where you need these massive follower bases. And users keep it very real in the conversations. I think there's definitely some salty conversations I've seen on Reddit threads, without a doubt. But oftentimes, the comment section, frankly, is way more interesting than whatever somebody actually posted in that original post itself.
I love the comments. I just shared with you, Gabe, today some great comments around Apple Intelligence and how can we expect Apple to make AI when they can't even make a functional podcast app. But let's also talk about
that comment.
Yeah, let's talk about what makes Reddit unique. And Gabe, I think this is one of my favorites here. When you sign up, there's a personalized experience that asks you what you're interested in. It suggests different communities where you can then subscribe to or join these communities. I love that. There's other apps that do this as well. I think Twitter did this at one point too. But with Reddit, you have that user curated content. So not only that content from your sign up is being personalized for you now, but now when you interact with the website or the app, when you upvote or downvote post, that determines what content is shown in your feeds. And then it allows the most relevant content to rise quickly. Gabe, knowing that's making Reddit pretty unique compared to other social media apps, I did share with you my screen time this week that shows that Reddit was one of my number one apps. Actually, it might have been like the number one social media category app, but
I think it was
Gabe,
too.
What's keeping us coming back? Why do we keep using these apps?
Well, it's that personalized content for starters. And you talked about a couple other solutions that do that. Twitter is a good example. The other one that I continue to go back to is Spotify. When you sign up for a Spotify account, you provide this personalized information around what artists, what music you like. It's asking you those specifics so that it can personalize that experience.
And it recommends concerts in the Spotify app. That's really cool too.
That is very cool. Yeah, I do love that. Or even, this artist that you love has just come out with a special LP or, whatever, right? There's a bunch of cool stuff that's built into the Spotify app there. But going back to the Reddit piece of this, it's personalized, it's fresh, it's relevant content. I mean, there's an endless supply of personalized content, and it's updating all of these things in real time with these conversations on things that you might find interesting or with just trending content. And the content is highly engaging. That's the other piece of this, is it's driving those conversations and driving engagement through all of these subreddit threads. There's also this sense of community and belonging and interaction. This is another huge part of it. Users, they're not just consuming content, they're participating in that discussion. They're upvoting things, as you mentioned, Zach, or maybe downvoting if they don't like it, and engaging with other people. But it's really created this community of enthusiasts around a specific topic, whether that, again, you said it, cats, crumble, broadband, sports, specific athletes, specific sports, specific teams, all of those sorts of things. There's also this gamification piece of this, which is huge. Karma points that assign a value based on your contributions to the overall subreddit thread. And it's tied to the upvotes and downvotes that you receive. I think that's a really interesting way that they've been able to tie gamification into the application.
So why are we talking about Reddit? As marketers, why are we looking at Reddit? It's not because we own stock in Reddit, our fractional shares here. But I think, one of the key things for marketers and brands here is when you use Reddit as a platform, authenticity is key. It's not the same as marketing on Google or Facebook. And I think Reddit users are more sensitive to marketing than some of these other platforms as well. So, my advice here, if you're looking at Reddit as a platform, engage as a community member first and a marketer second. I think Reddit can be a very valuable platform for marketers if you approach it with the right mindset. And then with this, Gabe, we have to talk a little bit about AI too on this podcast, but Reddit as a listening and an engagement tool, of course, go out there as a brand, find subreddits related to your industry, your product, your region. If you have a city or a town, there's certainly a subreddit for that. And listen, I think it's a gold mine for spotting customer insights and spotting trends, finding out exactly what people say about your brand. And I mentioned that AI component, Gabe, because if you recall, Gemini and or Google, I should say, and Reddit had a big deal about a year ago where they started using some of that Reddit data, those Reddit posts, to fuel that AI model. So when you're looking at product recommendations, I shared with you just ahead of this podcast, almost every product recommendation I could think of had Reddit as a source. It's taking what people are talking about and bringing that into the AI model. So that's kind of where that funnel I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast plays into account here. But with that too, Gabe, you can run targeted ads to specific subreddit or interest categories. So if you want to target maybe a specific community that aligns with your product, you can do that. We talked about the cats, the crumble, the sports, the NFL, the college football subreddits, all of these, you can target them. If you have a specific subreddit for your town, you can target that town as well. And when you do this, I think you have to be a little careful as well. Gabe, can you talk about how Reddit ads might differ from maybe a Facebook ad a little bit?
Well, like you said, they feel a lot more personalized and much less generic. And there's a great opportunity there to lean into a little bit more of that Reddit, or subreddit community vibe, right? And to your point, going back to the listening and engagement, if you're listening to what's happening and looking at what's happening on these threads, you're going to be able to create ads that really resonate with people based on those specific subreddits. It's humor can go a long way here to set yourself apart. Just having that personalized component of what's going on within the areas that you serve. If you're a broadband service provider, maybe looking at technology subreddits and trying to understand how you could leverage some of the technology subreddits in your specific areas to lean into things like gaming or more of those multi-gig service tiers, those sorts of things that somebody who's really interested in technology would be excited about. So it's a great opportunity to, again, get more personalized, really lean into what's being discussed in these subreddit threads, and again, just personalize that content and personalize those ads.
You've also got less ad saturation on Reddit than I think you'd see on Facebook, so less competition as a marketer. But to wrap this all up here, Gabe, like I said, Reddit can be an incredibly rewarding platform for marketers if you approach it with the right mindset. So whether you're engaging with communities or subreddits organically or running paid ads, respect the community, bring that authenticity, and embrace that uniqueness of Reddit. And Gabe, that is the ping for the month. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow Buffering on your favorite podcast app. And for more insights, follow Gabe and I on LinkedIn. We'll be back soon with another brand moment worth breaking down.